Navigating real-life challenges. Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Lisa Oligas. In this edition, we bring focus to messages of self-awareness and identity, as well as emotional and mental health challenges. We will visit with campus counselors about those issues among college students, but those topics are also the heart of multiple books by a regional author. We begin our discussion with Henry Harris Jr., a four-time published author who is touring with his latest book, Uncover, The Bridge Between Acceptance and Authenticity. Welcome, Henry. How are you?
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity to be here. I don't take it lightly, so thank you.
It's going to be a great conversation, I can tell. Before we dig into your latest book, Uncover, I want to talk to you about your background. So you spent like 20 years in nursing. Tell us what prompted you to start writing books.
Well, what prompted me to start writing books, as I told you earlier in a previous conversation, I started writing since I was a kid. Everybody else be out in the field, you know, playing and stuff like that. And I would be, during recess, just sitting down, just writing and writing. I didn't realize that that would benefit me years later.
Yeah.
I ended up having my own show, which we just went into our finale December last year. And that show consists of a lot of writing and producing, talking about mental health and a variety of subjects, relationships.
Yeah, you had a lot of conversations with some big people. I mean, you even talked to Maya Angelou, you said?
Yeah, she's come on my show, Judge Mathis. We've had a whole lot of people. It's a big story behind that. Also, in my later part of my years, and as a teenager, I had ended up doing ministry. At least I felt called to it.
Yeah.
And of course, when you do that, you have to write, prepare your sermonette and stuff like that. So I've always done writing. So that greater prompting kind of started with me first. And then
you were speaking at churches, you were speaking a lot, and then you decided, hey, I'm going to go on Facebook and have a show, and it was called Brother Henry and You.
Yeah, it's still on YouTube. You can look at the archives on there as well. But that other greater prompting and encouraging came from my friend who lives in the Dallas area. His name is Lionel Sneed. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And we would have these conversations, and I would tell him, I don't know what it is inside of me, but I feel like I need to write, which is weird because I've always wrote.
Yeah.
He was like, write what? I said, write a book. Because I was inspired by him because he had wrote a few books. I didn't have the resources. I didn't know where to start.
Sure.
I didn't know who to hire to do my editing. And sometimes that becomes, it makes, I say other people, it makes me procrastinate at that time. Because when you don't have all your ducks in a row, you kind of be like, okay, maybe this is not for me. So
it takes a team.
It does. He said these profound words to me. He said, Henry, you were made for this moment. And secondly, he said, write as you feel it.
Okay.
And 5 years later, still writing, I've applied those words of wisdom and affirmation to my life.
Well, you're also a minister. So how does your ministry or your experience in ministry influence your writing and even the topics that you cover?
Well, behind every smile, I believe there's a story. Behind every person, there's a story. There's a story of resilience. There's a story of disappointment, a story of past hurt, trauma, and pain. And I wanted to connect with people on a personal level. I didn't want people to just look at it from the sense that he's a minister, he's a pianist, you know, he's a follower, all these type of things. I feel like I'm more than that. Also, being a minister doesn't always mean you have to be anti-practical. Because sometimes people that's in the ministry, and I'm not saying collectively everyone is this way, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. A lot of times, for me in the past, I didn't always share about my beliefs or share about where I was struggling at, not externally, because I look good on the outside, but I was tormented on the inside. So I felt like I can be a minister and still practice and enjoy spirituality. However, anyone may want to practice that and at the same time be practical and talk about real life challenges and things that we all struggle with.
So you have 4 books, but you write from personal experience. So how would you describe what you present in your books? How do you peg them when it comes to, say, a genre? Would you call them self-help? Well, how do you describe what you write?
I would say my books are self-help. I like to describe it as transformational self-help.
Okay.
And they're rooted in purpose. They're rooted in identity. They're rooted in value, personal development, emotional healing.
Okay.
And spiritual health and all these type of things. Basically, my books pretty much comes with a universal, not only a universal message, but a universal language. Something that can resonate with everyone. So when they read it, any of these books, they can say, "Oh, I've been there before," or "I've been through a divorce. I know what it's like to live an inauthentic life."
Okay, so let's dive into your newest book, which is called Uncover, and it is the bridge between acceptance and authenticity. Do you feel like it took time to be your authentic self?
Yeah, I do. I do feel like it takes time to be your authentic self. I feel like that authenticity is not something that you become, it's something that you return to. And what I mean by that is that no one is born with a mask on. No one comes into the world as an imposter. No one comes into the world being inauthentic. I think, me personally, I think these are just learned patterns that I picked up as a kid. You need to be like your dad, be like this person, believe the way they want you to believe, do it the way. You can get so caught up in that where you lose yourself in the process. And in that process of losing yourself, I ran into what I would call an identity crisis where I didn't know who I was. And when you don't know who you are, number one, people will tell you, and number two, you become vulnerable or exposed to what people call you. No matter what that is, you're no good, you're inadequate, you can't do it, you'll never make it. Well, maybe I am these things because I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
So you finally reach a point where you finally get to yourself, where you finally know who you are, and I think that's a process. Yeah, it's definitely a process.
So what challenges were you facing, and what did it take for you to overcome those and find the strength to be comfortable with Henry Harris?
I like that word, overcome. I like to use the metaphor that I often use. If you can just imagine, like, and even our viewers, like just standing at the seashore of like an ocean, and you see the waves, you see the wind that's going. It's just a beautiful feeling, and you're just so caught up in the moment of what's going on presently in front of you that whatever's going on out there, it just don't really matter to you. It's not that you ignored it or pushed it away. It just don't matter at that moment. I always like to use the illustration of the water as our trauma, past hurts, rejection, all the stuff that we go through. And oftentimes when we're standing there, in a natural sense, you cannot pinpoint the end of the ocean. I don't know anybody that can do that. I can't do it. But at the same time, I kind of view overcoming more as a journey, not necessarily a destination, if that makes sense. So maybe I'm in a situation where I don't understand it all, or I'm in a situation where I don't see the full big picture yet.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm so present in what's going on in front of me, and I give myself grace to look at it from the perspective of I'm better today than I was yesterday, or I'm better today than I was a year ago. It's all about personal development, personal growth, and I'm not overcoming. I think you can overcome, but I do think that can be a challenge to get there, because sometimes we want to pinpoint where it ends when we need to give ourselves the grace and the credit as far as where we've come from and where we are today.
Yeah, and you're still developing and
Oh
growing.
yeah, it's an ongoing journey.
So talk about your writing process, because who are the experts you include in your books when you're sharing advice? On your posters, you say besides living authentically, you include practice acceptance. So is that something we need to apply both to ourselves and others? I mean, do you get advice from others in your books? Talk about that.
I believe it's important that people walk into the holy ground of your story, because you never know what people are going through. And I believe that the greatest story that one could ever tell is that which he has experienced. It makes no sense to talk about divorce if you've never been through it, or write a book about how to navigate through dead-end relationships when you've never been through it, or how to process healing from wounds, or how to be authentic. These are things that I have personally went through. So I feel like in essence that it's important that people just look inside themselves and understand that there's something greater that's inside of them that needs to be awakened inside of them. As far as your other question about the voices in the book, my voice is the ultimate voice in the book, but I also think it's important to bring other people into the book that are therapists and other professional voices. I believe that that gives the book a lot of credibility.
You said you ask a lot of questions in the book and then try to kind of come to answers, but you don't necessarily answer them all. Talk about that. Like what your goal is for like having a positive outcome for folks, right? And when they're reading your book, they're actually quite short.
Yeah.
So talk to me about why you keep them short.
I did that intentionally. And the reason why I did that intentionally is because I wanted to give people time to process it. And I love to ask questions as I go throughout the book. These are personal questions that I ask myself. One that I'm thinking about now is that I feel like every part of you deserves to be seen. And oftentimes the unedited version of ourselves, we don't want everybody to see that.
Right.
So we edited the certain parts of us. And the reason why people do that is because I think the ultimate reason is they want to be accepted. I feel like acceptance may give you access to the room, but authenticity allows you to breathe in the room. And I've discovered in my life that a lot of people are not breathing and that they are navigating through life seeking affirmation, approval, acceptance from people who, quite frankly, don't even accept or approve or validate themselves.
Yeah.
So it's important that as I'm writing these books, to make it personal, to ask what parts of yourself that you feel like you had to shrink, what parts of yourself you feel like you had to hide to be accepted. And I feel like those are spaces you don't deserve to be in if people cannot accept who you are.
Yeah. I mean, you've written several of the books. You mentioned them kind of in passing there with their names. You've written, they deal with tough emotional life experiences, dead end, navigating through relationships, the sting of rejection, facing our wounds, looking into the mirror of my heart. I feel like these could be Lifetime or Hallmark movies as well. Are you sharing your diary with the world kind of in these books?
Yeah, I am. A lot of people love it. Like I said earlier, the books have a universal message. I just want people to know that that it's important to be yourself. Like, you don't have to be anyone else. You don't have to shrink who you are to belong. And I feel like this is a message not just for here in America, but people are ordering these books, especially the last one, all around the world.
Wow.
And that tells me that there's a message that's at heart, that's really connecting with the people. And I think people are finally waking up and realizing that accept pretty much means I belong here.
Yeah.
Conditional acceptance means you have to do something to belong there. And people are walking further away from that and saying, I belong here.
Well, you're a dad. Does being a father change your perspective on writing your books or have a role in what you're focusing on?
I describe my daughter in my book as my greatest treasure. And she gets so happy when I put, it's on every book, as my greatest treasure. I never thought about that question until you sent that to me, but it really spoke volumes to me, because it's not that I didn't know what love was, but it's something about when you have your own kid. I'm a full-time dad. When you have your own kid, you look at her, she's like an embodiment of you. But to apply that to my writing, I would say it's more therapeutic for me, because the love I show her, she shows me. You know, there's times where she'll pitch in an idea, Dad, you think you should change the chapter, or Dad, what do you think about this? She thinks I'm a celebrity. I was like, oh Lord, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just trying to help people.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how my daughter, as far as her influence, as far as what I write.
That's awesome. All right, well, tell us where someone can find any and all of your books.
Just very simple. They can go to Amazon.com, type up either of these names, especially the new one that just came out, Uncover.
Yeah.
Type up Henry Harris. Make sure you put Junior at the end of it, and that's how they can locate these books.
All right, well, good luck on your book tour, and thanks for sharing all this great information and your
Thank you, too.
perspective. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will be joined by a member of the MSSU Counseling Service.